Alright, so we're starting now with example 4. Example 4, the last part of this lesson review, is when you are supposed to find lines that are parallel to or perpendicular to. Now, we didn't go over this last week. Okay, we quit before we got to this because this is a big part of this lesson. So, example 4, I'm going to do the one out of the book because I never did it with you guys, and then I'm going to do a few more samples. Does that make sense? All right, so the goal is you have a point, and their point is titled 4, 1. And you have a line, and they call the line L, and the line is defined as 2x plus 5y equals -10. So we've got ourselves an equation. It's in standard form. Okay? So far, so good? Okay. So I've got a point 4, 1, and I've got a line. 2x plus 5y equals -10. First of all, they say to you, find an equation in standard form, which is the form that we're already working with here, that goes through P, but is parallel to L. Goes through P, find an equation in the form of line L1 through P and parallel to the original line. All right, so this sounds a little strange, but it is going to be parallel to 2x plus 5y equals -10, and it's going to cut through that 4, 1. Okay, 4, 1 is currently not a part of this line at all. 4, 1 is just a line that exists. All right, so to start with, we are going to solve and find the equation of line L in point slope form. Okay, and they actually have that in the book, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. We're just doing A right now, so don't get baffled. All right, so 2x plus 5y equals -10. If I find it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to subtract my 2x. 5y equals -2x minus 10. Okay, this is y equals something x plus something, but the y has to have 1 as a coefficient. So I now have y equals -2/5 x minus 2. 10 divided by 5 is a -2. Okay, so I have just converted standard form to y-intercept form. Now there's a reason why I did that, and I'm going to show you why that is. Okay, so if the slope is -2/5, right, of this line, which is the same as this line, right? These two are the exact same thing. This is standard form. This is y-intercept form. Okay? If I have a slope, but I want to use the points that they've given me, which is 4, 1, can't I now use this data to come up with an equation using point slope form to find an equation for a new line that'll be parallel to this, but goes through that point? Because now I know the slope. Okay? So we started with, they want me to use this point, but this line's slope to create a line parallel to this line, but goes through that. Okay? The first part of this lesson, example 1, said, what if you have a slope and a pair of points? Can you do anything? Why, sure you can. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Y minus y1. So y minus 1 equals -2/5 times x minus 4. Okay? I'm almost ready to solve. I'm going to multiply by a -5 in order to clean up my fraction. Okay? In order to clean up my fraction. -5. Okay? So this causes this to disappear, which leaves me with a positive 2. This times this is where we're left. I'm just curious if we're going to end up at the same spot. Yeah, we are. They did it differently, but it's the same kind of thing. Negative 5y plus 1 equals 2x minus 8. We're going to move our 8 over, and we're going to move our y over. That should have a plus 5 there. Move it up a little bit. We're going to add 5y. Add 5y. Cancels it out on this side. So I've got 2x plus 5y. I'm going to add 8. Add 8. 13 equals 2x plus 5y. This is the equation that is parallel to 2x plus 5y equals negative 10 and passes through 4, 1. That is A. Okay? That's A. Now, lucky for you, it's going to get a lot easier when we do the next part because of this. All right? So recall what we did. We converted the original equation into y-intercept. Okay? We ascertained that m is our slope. We used the point that they wanted us to use and created an equation using point-slope form. We could have multiplied by a positive 5, but I chose to multiply by a negative 5. Either way, it would have just affected the sign that's left here with this 2. You still would have ended up in the same place, okay? Move everything around. You end up with your equation, which is 2x plus 5y equals 13, which is parallel to this and passes through that. Okay? So that's part A of this adventure. Part B. Part B, recalling that the line that we just came up with, okay, so A's slope is m equals negative 2/5, okay? A's slope is equal to negative 2/5. Now they want for B, they want an equation, and they're going to call that line 2. Lynn, wake up. Line 2 is going to be the negative reciprocal, okay? So the opposite of this is positive. The reciprocal of that is 5/2. Okay, so this line, a line with this is going to be perpendicular to the line with that. Okay, so this is the slope for the third and final line. So L was the first line, L1 was the second line, which was the line that we made parallel to the original, and this is the slope for line 2, the third one, which is perpendicular to the second one, okay? So if we take what we have here, we use this plus a point. What point do we have to use to find that new equation? 4, 1. So m equals 5/2, and the point that we're given is 4, 1, y minus y1 is equal to slope times x minus x1, otherwise known as, where is it, 4. Okay? Multiply both sides by 2. So 2 over 1 times 5/2 leaves us with 5. Nice whole number to work with. So we end up with 5x minus 20 equals 2y minus 2. There we go. 5x minus 20 equals 2y minus 2. You guys will hear me growling on the video. Cool. Keeping our x's positive, we're going to subtract our 2y. Killing off the 2y over there. And we're going to add our 20. Killing off our 20 over there. So 18 equals 5x minus 2y is the equation for the new line. Okay? That's the equation for the new line. Now, I have a couple more minutes. I can start another example if you like. Do you guys want me to do another example like this? Try and do one? Okay, I'm going to do one as quick as I can because it takes a long time and I'm already 10 minutes on my video. So, we're going to do number 31. Number 31 is doing the same thing as example 4. Look at number 31. Find equations in standard form and lines through point P that are parallel to and perpendicular to the line. So this is 31 I'm using out of the book. The point that is going to be used every time we need a point is 0, 3. The line in standard form is x plus y equals 5. I have no idea what this is, but I do know that I can ascertain the slope by converting this to y equals mx plus b. Subtract x, y equals negative 1x plus 5. So my slope is negative 1, right? Is my slope negative 1? So that means if I use negative 1 and this point in the point slope form, I can come up with my first line that is parallel to the original. Y minus y1 is equal to slope times x minus x1. This is a fun one. Okay. So we're going to just go ahead and carry this out. Y minus 3 equals negative x plus or minus 0. Do I need to include that plus or minus 0 at this level? No, you all know it's no good. All right, we're going to add x because I like my x's to be positive and you always want them to be for proper form. We're going to add our 3's. Okay, canceling here, x plus y equals 3. This is line sub 1. So this guy is line. This is line sub 1, which is parallel to line. Okay? We now want a line that is perpendicular to this line and also passes through this right here. Okay? Parallel and perpendicular. Okay, so if this is negative 1, let's say over 1, what is the opposite of negative 1 over 1? Positive 1 over 1. So I can just say positive 1, can't I? So for my perpendicular line, L sub 2, perpendicular, I am going to need to do the other slope. Instead of being negative 1, m will be positive 1, and the points are 0, 3 again. Okay, so this is the first part. This is line 1, line sub 1, parallel to the first line. This is the second part, inverse reciprocal, opposite reciprocal of the original slope. Okay, and solve it. Y minus y1 equals 1, x minus that, y minus 3 equals x. Move your 3 around. X plus y equals 3. There's your final one. X plus y equals, how's that possible? X plus y equals 3. That can't be possible. Here's what I get for rushing. Hold on. X minus y, you goof. I subtracted my y. X minus y. X minus y. X minus y equals 3. I'm rushing because I'm down to the last possible second. Subtract y and add 3. Okay?